Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I believe that XRP is going to make a ton of people listening to this right now very, very rich. And I know that you're here because you probably believe the same thing. And I just got to tell you at the outset here, I believe that you deserve the wealth that's coming to you. And same for me too. Like, I'm here to get my piece. I want all of you to get your piece. The XRP community is real. We've been through a lot. We've been in the trenches fighting against the SEC. For several years. We've made it through that. We're finally in a pro-crypto environment. XRP fundamentals have never been stronger. We put up with over a decade of toxic Bitcoin maximalists coming at us. All that uncertainty, all that stress, all that fighting, all the real attacks from the United States government itself. And now we're on the other side of it. So yeah, you deserve all of the wealth that's coming to you. And I do believe that it's coming. And I want to talk a little bit about that and a little bit about what it's like. And I think that I'm going to share some things that it resonated with me, and I think it's going to resonate with you too. And I also want to spend just a little bit of time addressing a conversation that there's been within the XRP community on social media, having to do with the blockchain backer. And I'll just tell you this at the outset, and then we'll get into greater detail. I think that so many of the comments, not all of them, there's been tons of supportive stuff, but there are a lot of comments that are just wholly inappropriate, and a lot of people that just completely misunderstand his actual position, and just unreasonable attacks. So I'll explain why my perspective is what it is. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And of course, I'm sure you know by now, late last night, Bitcoin hit a new all-time high, so the question of whether or not there would be a new all-time high for a Bitcoin this cycle, it's been answered. The answer was yes, and I believed firmly, and I insisted leading up to this, that although I didn't know, I believe the most probable outcome was yes, we would see a new all-time high. And I still believe we're going to see a parabola to the upside finally, with Bitcoin hitting a peak at some point in the not too distant future, but I just don't think that was it. I'd be surprised. You don't normally see, you've never seen actually, a Bitcoin bull run end with a whimper like that, because that's what it would be. I mean, we just scratch $125,000 for the first time ever, and then that's it? That would be a new one, and we do it, and there's no market euphoria. There's no retail mania here. No, come on, guys. Like, I do not find that. I can't say for sure, but I don't find that to be remotely probable. Things could end soon, though, and I'd be fine with that. Like, I'm ready to get the life-changing wealth. I don't know about you guys. Like, I am ready for that moment. So there's this post last night before Bitcoin ran to its all-time high. This is 7 p.m., so several hours, actually almost 5 hours before Bitcoin hit the all-time high. This is from Nijin Tropic. This account's run by the guys that founded two on-chain analytics firms, Glassnode as well as Swissblock. And he simply wrote, there is a good chance Bitcoin tops out in 4 to 5 weeks and alts in 6 to 8 weeks. So even before last night, when Bitcoin hit the all-time high, they already believed, no, Bitcoin's going to run higher, it's going to have a final run, and it's going to happen perhaps sooner than later, 4 to 5 weeks. Now, I don't know if the timing's right. There are a few analysts of high repute that believe we're going to be seeing this bull run drag into 2026. We'll see. I'm not taking a position on that. I'm just sharing. I've shared the data with you along the way. You guys can decide for yourselves. You're big boys and girls. But he also said he thinks that alts could peak in 6 to 8 weeks. So if that's the case, you're talking about this bull run being at its peak by the beginning of December. So you could have that life-changing wealth sooner than later. And I know it's going to feel surreal after all these years that you've been through all of this. And I've been right with you, folks. I've been here since late 2017. I've never sold a single XRP in my entire life. I've never cashed any crypto out to United States dollars. It's going to feel surreal, but we actually are in that moment where it is reasonable to believe that it could be coming that soon, even though we don't know for sure if it will. It absolutely, actually could. And there's this from Nick Crypto Crusader. This is one of the many analysts I follow who was absolutely correct in 2024 that XRP would break to the upside. He nailed it. And he said, altcoins are about to show you why it pays to wait. And oh yes, folks, you have waited. You have had your diamond hands. Hopefully most of you listening. I think so. And that's why I want to share this meme with you. This is from XP Market. X-ray of an XRP holder's hand. You got to look at this if you're not looking at your screen now. It's pretty fun. It's just an X-ray, but the bones are made of diamonds. I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's an XRP holder's hand rather, because we've been through so much, and like so many of us have just held and held and held. Even when the SEC attacked, I refused to sell any XRP. I refused. And I went through all of that. They tanked my net worth. And yours listening, if you were here at the time. Absolutely obliterated. I mean, XRP was what, 57 cents at the time? Cratered down to like 16 or 17 cents. Yeah. That's pretty devastating, because that's was then and is now my largest individual crypto holding. But here we are. And this is what it takes to get life-changing wealth in crypto. It's just that if you're an XRP, you had to go through a whole lot more than the average person out there. And so there's this post from Fire Hustle. I'm not familiar with this particular individual, not that it particularly matters. But this was reposted by Credible Crypto, and he had something to say about this. So I'm going to read this post from Fire Hustle first. And it resonated with me. And I think it's going to with you too. Because it can be kind of a lonely journey when you're going through everything that crypto brings at you, especially over a span of years. And I don't know about you folks, but in real life, there aren't so many people I can talk to about this. So I'm very thankful for all of you. I'm thankful there is an XRP community, because otherwise this would be a much more difficult journey, frankly. But here's what Fire Hustle had to say. And she posted this yesterday. Most people around you will never understand why you're so obsessed with crypto until the results show. To outsiders, it just looks like an addiction. Checking charts, grinding over projects nobody has heard of. Friends think you're wasting time. Family tells you to relax, to stop overcomplicating life. What they don't see are the sacrifices. All they see is someone who's too locked in, and they don't get it. That's the hardest part of the journey. Grinding in silence when nobody believes in what you're doing. But then the results come. The patience pays off. And suddenly, the same people who doubted are the ones asking how you did it. That's the truth about this space. Nobody understands the obsession in the beginning. They only understand it once the results are undeniable. Folks, yes, spot on. I read that as like, hell yeah. It is indeed a lonely journey. And I don't know why I'm so hyper interested in crypto. I just am. And so, and I've said many times before, and I do find this to be true just in general in life. You don't choose what you're interested in. You discover what you're interested in. And when I came across crypto, it just grabbed me. I don't know why. It just did. I am hyper interested in it. And if you're listening to this right now, I'm willing to bet that it probably did the same for you. And I understand for people it's going to be to varying degrees. I put myself in the hyper-interested category. I don't know why it did it. It just did. I mean, I can say some general things about, wow, the opportunity, I saw it, the vision made sense, I firmly believed it, I knew that it could be life-changing for me in terms of wealth, if correct, and it certainly has been to this point. There's no question. It's changed my life in terms of net worth, even though I haven't cashed out yet. But, so, I mean, those are those obvious things, but still, it doesn't do that for everyone. You know, even if you believe in general in crypto. So I don't know. I discovered this is something that grabbed me. I didn't know it would. I just came across it in life, and here I am. But the thing is, and I'm sure that it's like this for so many of you listening, I'm willing to bet that most people, if not all people in your life, family and friends, even if they own crypto, they don't really care that much. At least that's how it is for me. Like, I've got a number of family and friends who are in crypto at least to some degree, and I suspect for pretty much all of them it's to some small degree, and I don't get the sense, having talked to all of them, that they've done any in-depth research or have any sort of particular insight that is of interest. And that's fine. It didn't grab them. It grabbed me. It didn't grab them. Okay. The closest I have to somebody in real life that's interested in crypto is my youngest brother. I've got 3 brothers. My very youngest brother, he's been in crypto since 2017 also. And coincidentally, he jumped into crypto basically at the same time I did. He jumped in 1 month before me for a different reason than me. I came across an article online, and it just that's what opened it up. It was an article about Ethereum. It was actually a negative article about an Ethereum hack, and I can't remember what initially dragged him in. But it's kind of funny that he and I jumped in at just about the same time, right before that parabolic blow off top. He's very interested in it, maybe not quite to the degree that I am, but he is in a very serious way invested in crypto, and it's changing his life as well. He's been in it long enough, and he's taken it very seriously. My other 2 brothers, they're in crypto to some small degree. They're not really following it. It didn't really grab them, and that's fine. Everybody's different. But I just mentioned this to say, and I'm wondering if you guys are nodding along as you're listening. Like, I don't really, other than my youngest brother, like, I don't really have anyone to talk to on a daily basis about this, and I can't talk to him literally every single day about this. So I'm glad. It's a long way of saying I'm thankful I have you guys. You know, I'm thankful that there is an XRP community. I'm thankful there is this outlet, and I get to run this YouTube channel. I'm very thankful for the support. So it is kind of a lonely journey, and so this resonated with me. It really did. And so we're going to go through all of this. And there have been times where in real life I've talked too much about crypto, and then I quickly realized that person is not interested. And then I never did it again, of course. Like, I can read social cues. Like, it's like as soon as you get to that moment where the eyes start to glaze over and there's like a fake smile, like, I'm going to shut up now. You got to take social cues. You got to take the social cues. But that's, you know, that's what I keep running into. Like, people don't have that level of interest, but, you know, ultimately it's just going to be too obvious to ignore the degree to which it's life-changing for me. And so I think you guys are going to run into the same thing. Like, once we sell, you get the life-changing wealth. It is, even if you don't tell anybody, it's going to be noticeable. People are going to be questioning what I know. So I've noticed that you don't look like you're dirt poor. What anymore? Like, what has happened? You know, that type of thing here. And I'll be happy to talk about it, but it's, you know, it's just, it's kind of a shame. Like, I wish that my friends and family knew the things that I knew and had taken the time to look into what I've looked into, but I'm not going to preach this to people that don't have interest. I'm just not going to do it. I don't try and, in my personal life, I do not, and well, not that I'm trying to convince anybody to buy or sell anything here either. I'm certainly not. But in my personal life, I'm not trying to convince any of my family or friends to be interested in crypto. If somebody happens to have any level of interest, I'm happy to talk to them about it, but that's as far as I take it. I don't tell them to do or not do anything, you know? But here's what Credible Crypto had to say about this. He reposted it, and again, this is where I came across this, and he said, "Obsessed is just a word the lazy use to describe the dedicated." Think about this a lot, to be honest. No one I know in real life is as into this space as I am, and I'm sure a lot of them don't get my obsession either. Folks, I would say for me, it's probably, if it's an obsession for him, then it's got to be for me. Like, I spend hours and hours and hours per day on this, and I have literally for almost 8 years now. So if you want to call it an obsession, but I think it's healthy to have a strong interest like that. It's not like my life's unbalanced and I'm not taking care of other stuff. It's just a very strong interest for me. So you pick your word to describe that. But anyway, then he says, sometimes when I'm telling them about this space, I feel like they probably see me as this guy, LOL. And for those of you not looking at the screen, he's referencing the GIF he shared from Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Great show. I love that show. I've seen all the episodes. I can't remember specifically what this one is, but you've probably seen this meme even if you don't know the show. It's where he's going crazy here. He's like, arms flailing. Look at it. He looks like a crazy man, pointing at all these papers on a board like he's tying together some weird conspiracy theory, and somebody's got notes taped to the wall and strings tying everything together. And so Credible Crypto says, sometimes when I'm telling them about this space, I feel like they probably see me as this guy, LOL. In the end, though, there's not much I can do about it. When you live and breathe crypto for nearly a decade, it becomes a big part of you, whether you like it or not. In the end, I just know it will pay off. And that's why we keep on keeping on. Spot on. That one gets a little golf clap. Golf clap for Credible Crypto. Spot on. I feel exactly the same. Yeah, it's a part. Now, I do want it to be a part of it. I'm very thankful. Honestly, jumping into crypto is the best financial decision that I've made my entire life, bar none. It's not even close. Had to go through a lot of hell, but it's been the best decision that financial decision that I've ever made in my entire life. And so I think it's only going to get better. It's only going to get bigger and bigger. This is a baby asset class, even at several $1 trillion. It's still early on. And so, again, I just want to say, because I don't normally make videos where I talk about stuff like this, but I thought this is a good time to. Bitcoin just hit an all-time high when people were doubting. We're probably entering the very final phase of this market cycle. XRP almost certainly is going to burst. We've been through hell. And so I just wanted to tell you, if you're listening to this, I'm there with you. And yes, you deserve the wealth that's coming. If we're right, and XRP really does rocket off to the moon, where the Lambos are, like, yes, you absolutely deserve that. And I think we're going to get there, folks. I really do think we're going to get there. And then there's this. So the blockchain backer, and I'm sure many of you have seen this video, he posted yesterday morning before Bitcoin hit the all-time high. In it, he was explaining why he had sold, it looks like half his crypto. He said he's 50% in cash. And he outlined in this video in great detail why he made that difficult decision. And you should watch it if you haven't before forming an opinion. It didn't make him a bear. He didn't say that the top for sure for Bitcoin is in, though having listened to him, I do think that he was supposing there was a very high probability that, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, that's the way I took it based on everything I saw from him, and I've been paying attention lately. It seems like he thought there's a high level of probability that the top for Bitcoin was in this cycle. He still remained optimistic but cautious that the Russell 2000 and and altcoins ultimately would take off this market cycle. But it became very clear, and there's nothing wrong with this, he wanted to make sure he secured some profit this market cycle because he's been in this for the better part of a decade. He's been here a really long time. And so he did just that. He secured some profit. And, maybe we'll see, if the market keeps raging to the upside, maybe he puts some of that back in. Maybe he will. But even if he doesn't, he deserves, there's nothing wrong with taking profit. And so if he wants to make sure that he's securing something this market cycle and he doesn't want to round trip, then that is a smart thing to do, actually. It just depends on what your strategy is. There is nothing wrong with that. Because understand, he's not doing this out of fear. He's not panicking. He's definitely not panicking. He's looking at data and coming to the conclusion that he perceives as the most reasonable. You don't have to agree with it. Some of you do, and that's fine. Whether you agree or disagree, it's almost immaterial to that comment anyway. He just wanted to secure that profit. So, for me, am I going to do? No. So here's my deal. I would tell you this. Even if I thought right now, and I mean this, if I thought it was probable that the top for Bitcoin was in and there wasn't going to be an alt season, even if I believed that was probable, I would not sell. Because here's the deal. Here's what I set up for myself. This is a rule I set up in 2017 when I jumped into crypto. I will not sell my portfolio in terms of cashing out to United States dollars until it is sufficiently life-changing that I'm enticed to do so. And why? That's to idiot-proof it. Because even if my suspicions are right, and a lot of times they are, and say my suspicion was that the market was going to go down and that ended up being correct, I'm still not going to regret that. I'm idiot-proofing it. Because being hands-off is the most surefire way, that's as close as you're going to get to a surefire way to make sure that you get life-changing wealth, because the market keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger if you just let time pass. So if you're not going to stress about not getting profit this cycle, you don't have to worry about it. So I do critique people that round trip, meaning, you bought something, it went to the peak, and then you didn't sell and it goes back down. I'll critique that behavior only if that happens due to your own greed. If you round trip understanding what you're doing, as I did last cycle, I did not cash out to USD because it wasn't sufficiently life-changing to me. That makes total sense. I absolutely respect that. And so if this cycle we don't go higher, I'm not enticed. So I'm still within the same framework that I set for myself in 2017. I do not sell unless my portfolio, the crypto portfolio, is life-changing. Or if there's an individual coin that's an outsized portion of my net worth, and maybe I sell that. That is what I'm looking for. So the only way I'm selling this cycle is if we do get that euphoric blow off top. So that's very different from what the blockchain backer's doing, but what he's doing isn't wrong. And you guys, if there's anybody listening that's giving him shit about that, stop it. Just knock that off. The blockchain backer is like one of the nicest dudes in the entire crypto space. Give him a freaking break. He's been here for everyone through very difficult times. And he's of course, he's a man. He's not going to be right about everything, but he's operating in good faith. That's very obvious here. And he's doing what he thinks is best for him. You don't have to copy him if you don't agree. That's fine. It's perfectly fine. And again, he wasn't saying it's absolutely all doom and gloom. Doom and gloom. He was taking a defensive stance in that. It's not something I would do, but there's nothing wrong with doing that. It's part of a strategy that is not based on panic. It's based on data and what he believed was most probable. It's just, it doesn't make sense to give him trouble over something like that. It really doesn't. And so he hopes the market rips higher. And if you've been listening to him, you know that. And he has acknowledged there's a very good chance, even though he seemed less confident in Bitcoin, he seemed like there's a reasonable chance, like, yeah, the Russell 2000 is going to go. You're going to see altcoins follow. And so there you go. So it just depends on what you want to do. For me, no, I do not sell until I get to that level. And my whole thing is, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It was a hell of a ride. I've been at it better part of a decade. And if I'm wrong and it goes to zero, so be it. I do not believe that's going to happen. My conviction is, I think, well placed. And it is stronger than ever. I refuse to waver. I will not sell until it's sufficiently life-changing. Now, I mean, it's at a high level, so it depends. Let me parse that a little. My net worth is wildly higher than it is, so like in that sense, to me, it's already life-changing. But in terms of cashing out, would I ever do it this cycle without a blow-off top? No. And if that means I round trip again, fine. See you in 4 years, and I'll sell then, because the market's still going to go higher. And see, this is how you win when it comes to investing. You just have to be more patient than everyone else. And it makes sense to make sure that you're sufficiently diversified within the asset class, and I sure as hell am. I own a ton of different cryptocurrencies, and yes, I'm very heavy XRP because it's performed so well since November. It's half my crypto portfolio now, but it was a much smaller percentage before that. I don't know if it was like, I can't remember now, 20%, I can't remember. It was smaller though. But, you know, the rest of my portfolio is still meaningful in terms of what it's worth in terms of United States dollars. So all that to say, I just wanted to say, like, be nice. If you disagree with them, that's fine, and you can engage in civil discourse and be respectful, and some of you really have. Like, there is this post from Bobby A. I'm not gonna read this just for the sake of time here, but it's on your screen here. Like, Bobby A., another chart analyst, this just made me respect him more than I already did. Like, he came in, he was civil, he was respectfully stating in an adult manner why he disagreed, and you can pause if you want to read all this. And he shared it yesterday before Bitcoin hit the new all-time high, and that's perfectly fine. Like, that's the adult way to approach this. Don't do name calling. If you're crapping all over him, that's just going to make me, if I see that, I'm just going to be like, I don't like you. You are not my type of person. That's completely disrespectful. And the blockchain backer, when he was right last cycle about Bitcoin topping around $70,000, you know, there were multiple chart analysts that were so rude to him. I just lost all respect. I mean, it's been several years, and I will never forget those people being complete jackasses to him. I will never forget those people because I respected them and I followed them. I was like, wow, you guys are awful, actually. And then the blockchain backer was right on top of it, and they never apologized. They never acknowledged they were wrong. So yeah, no analyst, no matter what talent they have and what knowledge they have, no analyst is going to be perfectly correct all the time. But they can't be. It's impossible. It's about probability of outcome, not certainty of outcome. Give them a break. Be respectful. My God. I'm just saying here. This is an XRP community member who, like I said, has been here for everyone for years, since the beginning. Just chill out, okay? So he was concerned about Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high. It did go on to hit a new all-time high. Okay, so it hit it. He didn't say for sure it wouldn't. And what if it doesn't go on a final parabola? I mean, I still think it will, but what if it doesn't? You hate him now? Like, what is the logic in this? It just doesn't make any damn sense. So all that being said, do whatever you think is best for you. Whatever you think is best for you. Don't blindly follow anyone, not the blockchain backer. Don't do what I'm doing just because I say I'm doing. You got to decide what's best for you. I don't know what's best for you. I don't know your individual position. And different people have different goals. There's nothing wrong with his strategy. You decide what's best for you. I don't think there's anything wrong with my strategy. It certainly is working for me. It's just my whole thing is about, since I'm a regular guy, not thinking that I'm smarter than everybody else out there. And as a result, that means just being hands off. And it turns out that's really hard for people to do. I don't have trouble with it, but it's very difficult for people to do. When markets tank, people want to tinker with their positions. When markets are heating up, they want to sell something that hasn't been performing to go chase this thing that is, and then you're buying the top. Like, all these things happen, all these pitfalls. Which is another reason why, if something's popping off and I want to buy that coin, I mean, I don't buy stuff that's ramped up already like a ton. I just refuse. I'm like, oh, I missed that one. But if I want to buy something, I do it with new money that I earned. I don't sell something to then go chase something else. If I want a new position, then I open that new position with cash that I have. I don't sell stuff. And that may mean that some of the stuff that I buy goes to zero and I never, fine. I don't expect I'm going to profit from everything I've ever invested in. But on the whole, I do. And I think that's a pretty damn good approach. So anyway, give him a break, but you are free to yell at me in the comment section below, even though I'm right. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.